You know, normally in a lesson, I'd have you play your assignment from last week, and then I'd give you feedback and we'd work on it together. This is a really important part of the piano learning process. While I'm trying to make these videos feel interactive, I obviously can't see or hear you. And that's one of the biggest setbacks of being self-taught. So to take away that disadvantage, go over to Facebook and find our private group, Piano Roadmap Community. This is meant to be a space for you to post videos of yourself playing, either lesson assignments from here or other repertoire that you're working on. And then you can get feedback from me or other members. Or if you want more personal attention, go over to Patreon and pledge your monthly support. Some of the perks involve one-on-one coaching, and I'm still trying to think of ways to make your Patreon membership more valuable to you. And I want to give a shout out to Justin and Isaac, who have already pledged their monthly support, which I am very grateful for. So thank you. Okay, last week we discussed correct piano posture, finger numbers, and note names, and the relation to the groups of 2 and 3 black keys. If you don't know what any of those things mean, that means you need to go to lesson 1 before you watch this. But if you're good with all of that, let's go. Today we're learning about rhythm and note values. Rhythm happens when we first set a steady pulse or beat and then play notes with different lengths or note values on top of that steady beat. Now that definition will make more sense in a minute. A steady pulse or beat is that internal toe tap of the music, the thing that we all instinctively feel. We feel it when we run, when we listen to a clock tick, or when we listen to free music from YouTube. The pulse of the music can be slow or fast or anywhere in between. The pulse or tempo that we choose should represent what the music is about. Slower tempo for maybe sad songs or quicker tempos for happier songs. That's way oversimplifying it, but you get the idea. So now let's learn about note values so we can start practicing rhythms. There are quite a few different note values, and today we're going to learn 4 of the most common ones. So first, what is a note? A note is just a symbol that represents one pitch or key on the piano. There's the note head and the stem. You can check out this handy note value chart right here. When you see a note that's filled in, this is called a quarter note and it gets 1 beat. So I'm going to set a slow, steady pulse and then play 4 quarter notes. 1, 1, 1, 1. Easy, right? The note that's hollow is called a half note and we hold it for 2 counts. So here's my steady pulse, and then here's 2 half notes. 1, 2, 1, 2. If I add a dot to this half note, it becomes a dotted half note, and we hold it for 3 beats. So steady pulse. 1, 2, 3. The last one we'll learn today is the whole note. This is hollow but without a stem, and we hold it for 4 beats. Steady pulse. 1, 2, 3, 4. By using these different note values in different combinations with a steady pulse, we get rhythm. So let's try a few examples together. Here's our rhythm, and you can remind yourself of the different note values here. Take a minute to look the rhythm over. Then, when you're ready, let's set our steady pulse together and count it out loud as we play any note on the piano or clap.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good. Let's try another one at a slightly faster tempo. So look it over, and here's your pulse.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3.
All right, so that's note values. Make sure to memorize them and be able to quickly recall their values. There's one more component to rhythm that we need to know, and that's time signatures. Time signatures are found at the beginning of pieces, and they consist of two numbers. The top and bottom number represent different things, but right now we're only going to worry about the top number. So the top number tells us how many beats there are in a measure. Measures are groups of notes separated by bar lines. So here's our first rhythm again that we practiced, and I'm going to add a time signature to the beginning. This is called 4/4 time. Looking at the top number, we know there are 4 beats in every measure. So let's add up our notes until we get to 4. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 4. So we have 4 beats right here, and now let's add the bar line. So this is a measure. And let's keep going and add 2 plus 2 equals 4. So here's another measure and another bar line goes here. Then 3 plus 1 equals 4. And we know a whole note gets the full measure. So this is all by itself in one measure. So this example has 4 measures, and we end all pieces with a double bar line. I've provided you with worksheets that have different rhythm and note value exercises to do in the link below. If you're like me at all, writing things out really helps solidify what I'm learning. So definitely take the time to give those a try. Now that we know about time signatures, I want to change the way we count our note values. Since we know that there are 4 beats in every measure, we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4 if we see 4 quarter notes instead of 1, 1, 1, 1. Let's look at our first rhythm again, but now we'll count it in 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another common time signature is 3/4 time. So we would count to 3. 1, 2, 3. And the assignment for today is in 6/4 time. So we'll be counting in 6. And actually, let's get to our assignment. This week, I want you to practice Amazing Grace. I'm going to teach you the notes here, but I also want you to download the sheet music in the link below. Now, this is a pretty familiar tune, and some of you with good ears might be able to figure out this tune just by messing around on the piano. Now, that is a great skill to have, but for now, I want you to follow the notes and rhythms that are written with your eyes as you play, because this is how we learn and improve our music reading and comprehension. Let's first find your hand position. Right hand finger 1 is on middle C, and left hand finger 1 is on the B below that. In our last lesson, I basically pointed to every single note in Happy Birthday and told you where it was on the piano. By the way, if you haven't memorized your note names on the piano yet, do it. This time, I'm going to just play it for you once with the note names and rhythm on the screen. And then I'm going to leave it up to you to practice this on your own with the sheet music that you'll download. Look at the time signature and the first measure. Do you notice anything that looks off?
If you noticed that there are only 2 beats in the first measure when there are supposed to be 6 beats in every measure, you're right. This here is called a pickup bar or upbeats. These upbeats are thieves, really. They've stolen 2 beats from the last measure of the piece and brought them to the front. So we'll start counting with beats 5 and 6, and in the last measure, we'll only count to 4. So let's first set the tempo, and here we go. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so practice Amazing Grace this week, and remember our sectional practicing that we did last week on Happy Birthday? You can use that in this piece as well, and it will speed up your learning. Now, I want to teach you your warm-ups for this week. You have 2. The first one is using the groups of 2 and 3 black keys and reinforcing the note names that are nearby those groups. You can start anywhere on the piano. Just make sure you have room for at least 3 hops. You'll start with left hand fingers 2 and 3 and play the group of 2 black keys. As you play, you'll say near C, D, E, then lift and go to the next group of 2 black keys, higher. And then you'll say the same thing, near C, D, E, as you look with your eyes at each key as you say the notes. So you've got laser eyes as you say each note. Then hop one more time, near C, D, E, then do the same thing with your right hand. And you'll also want to do this with the group of 3 black keys. So this time I'll show you with my right hand. We're going to use fingers 2, 3, 4, and we'll play and say near F, G, A, B, then hop to the next group of 3 black keys higher, say the same thing, and then hop one more time. And of course, I want you to do this with your left hand as well. As you play this simple warm-up, I want you to also pay attention to your wrists and how you're moving from one group to the next. Watch my wrist and hands as I move. After I play the keys, my wrist begins to lift while my fingers keep in contact with the keys. So you need a relaxed wrist for this. Then I lift off, fingers loose and dangling, and move to the next group, leading with my wrist and then evening out on the descent to make the nice curved hand position shape. So I'm moving in kind of a rainbow shape. And this may seem like a weird thing to focus on, but this relaxed lifting is how we phrase and shape music on the piano. So I want you to get used to this motion. The second warm-up I want you to do is in C position, which means right hand finger 1 on middle C and left hand finger 5 on bass C, which is the C below middle C. You'll be playing in contrary motion, and it looks like this. And here are things to listen and watch out for as you practice this exercise. 1, make sure that you're only playing one note at a time in each hand. Sometimes our fingers get sloppy and want to hold down notes after we play them. So listen to make sure you get a nice, clean sound. Make sure the left hand and right hand are both playing their notes at the exact same time, because we don't want a rolled effect. 3. Listen for an evenness of notes, all at the same steady tempo. So set your pulse before you begin. If you're confident in all 3 things that I just mentioned, then gradually increase the tempo, getting just a little bit faster. But if you increase the tempo and then things get sloppy, it just means you've gone too fast too soon and need to bump the tempo back a little. So always be listening as you play and record yourself too. And that's it for this lesson. Quick recap: practice your 2 warm-ups, practice Amazing Grace, and do the music theory worksheet. If you're still struggling a little bit with last week's assignment, which was Happy Birthday and the Mary Had a Little Lamb finger number exercise, then definitely keep practicing those until they feel comfortable. Next week, we're going to dive into how to read notes on the staff, as well as get some practice with the metronome. So if you don't have a metronome, definitely get one by next week. There are many free metronome apps that you can easily download to your phone or tablet. I talk about my favorite one in this video here. Remember, if these video lessons feel slower to you than normal YouTube videos, you're absolutely right. We're focusing on establishing a strong foundation of piano technique and music comprehension, and that oftentimes means moving a little bit slower. Keep aiming for 15 to 20 minutes of practice for 5 days this week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at your next lesson.